Hola, soy yo, Vicky, otra vez. It's me, Vicky, again. And en este video tengo muy buenas noticias. In this video, I have very good news because we're going to look at 30 verbs that are virtually identical in Spanish. So, you know how it's difficult to remember sometimes verbs, etc. You know, a veces es difícil recordar los verbos, pero estos verbos no. Se llaman cognados, they're called cognates, and they are so similar. So they're not false friends. You know, sometimes you have words in Spanish, you think, oh, that must be such and such in English. And it's not. It's completely different. These are true friends, not false friends. So estos son amigos verdaderos, no amigos falsos, but falsos. And you know, one day I think I'm going to do a video on this thing of putting O on the end of words, because that does sometimes work. And what you'll see from this is sometimes it does work to just turn an English verb into an AR, or IR verb, because some verbs are so similar. And the good thing about those is that we can remember them. We can remember them and we can use them. So, sí, eso es son muy buenas noticias que hay verbos que son fáciles a recordar. There are verbs that are actually easy to remember. And we're going to look at 30 of them. 30 easy to remember verbs in Spanish. I just wanted to say that don't forget at the end, please, to give me a thumbs up if you find the video useful. And subscribe if you want to, but it's free, completely free. It's a free way you can help me out with my YouTube channel. If you want to buy me a coffee, you can buy me a coffee, but that obviously is not obligatory. It just helps keep the channel going. And also, just want to say before I start, I am looking for sponsors of my videos. So if you know of you or anyone you know has a business or a service that you provide that you think would, the packages start from €30, just €30, sponsor a video and get your service out there. Okay, so vamos a ver los verbos. Número uno. So, número uno es abandonar. Abandonar. Now, I almost don't even have to tell you what these verbs mean in English, but I will. But that is to abandon. But you would know that, wouldn't you? So all of these verbs, I think, I virtually don't even need to tell you what they are in English. Número dos. Activar. Oh, by the way, what we're going to do at the end, after I've gone through all the verbs, I'm going to go back to the number one and read out the verb for you to repeat to practice the pronunciation. Okay, so the second one, número dos, activar. And this, what do you think it might mean? Of course, it's to activate. Número tres, calcular. Calcular, of course, is to calculate. And what I noticed when I was doing this video the other way around for my English students, a lot of these have got 8 on the end, like activate, calculate, etc. You'll see as we go along. Anyway, that's just little things like that sort of interest me. So I don't want to start waffling on about it as I normally do. Okay, so calcular, to calculate. Número cuatro, calmar. Calmar, and that is to calm. Número cinco, cancelar. Cancelar, to cancel. And number 6, celebrar. Celebrar. Now remember, with a CE pronunciation, You can either do it as a th or a s, but not a k. So you can't say celebrar, but you could say celebrar or celebrar. And that, of course, is to celebrate. Número 7. Comunicar. What do you think that means? Comunicar, to communicate, of course. Número 8. Considerar. Considerar, which is to consider. Número 9. And you know, actually, just looking at this, I don't know if there's a reason for that, but most of them, I mean, they are more common, the AR verbs, of course, but most of them are AR verbs. I think there's only a couple of them that are not. But anyway, again, these little things sort of interest me and I get sidetracked. So, considerar, to consider. Número 9. Consultar, which is to consult. Número 10. Dedicar, which is, of course, to dedicate. Número 11. Demostrar. Demostrar, which is to demonstrate. Número 12. Eliminar. Eliminar, which is to eliminate. Número 13. Evaluar. Evaluar, to evaluate. Número 14. One for once that's not an AR verb. Existir. Existir, to exist. Número 15. Experimentar. Experimentar, to experiment. 16, one of my favourite verbs, I don't know why, I just think it's a nice verb in Spanish and English. Fascinar. Fascinar, to fascinate. Número 17. Insertar. Insertar, to insert. Número 18. Another IR verb. Insistir. Insistir, to insist. Número 19. Remember, I is E, so we're doing an E sound, not an I sound. I'm sorry, it's not insistir. Insultar. Insultar, to insult. And the U, of course, is a U sound. Insultar. And we will do the pronunciation later. Número 20. Integrar. Integrar, to integrate. Which, of course, it's important that we look at the pronunciation because these verbs are so similar to the English version, we might pronounce them wrongly, and that's when we won't be understood. So that's why we're going to do the pronunciation practice at the end. Okay, número 21. Investigar. Investigar, to investigate. Número 22. Modificar. Modificar. So in fact, most of these, I'll concentrate on this more when I'm doing the pronunciation. You've got modificar. We have to remember we pronounce all our syllables, don't we, in Spanish? To modify. Modificar, strangely enough, unsurprisingly enough, is to modify. Número 23. Motivar. Motivar. To motivate. Número 24. Necesitar. Necesitar, to need. Número 25. Notificar. Notificar, to notify. Número 26. Operar. Operar, to operate. Número 27. Participar. Participar, to participate. And then número 28. Presentar. Presentar, to present. Número 29. Representar. Representar, to represent. Y el último, the last one. Número 30. Simplificar. Simplificar, to simplify. Fantastic. 30 verbs that are so similar that you cannot say you can't remember them. They're easy to remember. Let's go back to number 1 and practice the pronunciation. So what I'm going to do is read out the verb, leave a gap, read it out again, leave a gap, and you can repeat. I don't think they're that difficult to pronounce, only maybe some of them with a lot of vowels in. Trying to pronounce the R on the end. When you're reading an infinitive, of course it ends in an R, so it's an R or ir. If you can roll your R's. I can do it sometimes. It's a pretty pathetic roll of an R compared to how Spanish people do it. But I think, I'm quite proud I can do it. Okay, I've never not been understood. But it's difficult to roll your R's. If you can't roll it, just extend it at least. Sorry, I think I'll just have un poco de agua because I'm a little bit dry. Okay, so número 1, abandonar. Abandonar. Número 2, activar. Activar. Número 3, calcular. Calcular. Número 4, calmar. Calmar. Número 5, cancelar. Cancelar. Número 6, celebrar. Celebrar. And as I say, you can say celebrar. So you don't have to do a th. In fact, if you're in South America learning Spanish, they don't use a th sound. So you would use a s sound, celebrar. Either is okay in Spain, okay? Celebrar, celebrar. Número 7, comunicar. Comunicar. Número 8, considerar. Considerar. Sometimes you try too hard. Vale, número 9. Consultar. Consultar. Número 10. Dedicar. Dedicar. Número 11. Demostrar. Demostrar. Número 12. Eliminar. Eliminar. Número 13. Evaluar. Evaluar. Now, there's a lot of controversy over the V, of course. You know, some people will pronounce it like evaluar, or you might hear evaluar or evalu. I mean, you know, don't worry about it. Shouldn't really be pronounced as a B. They're trying to change, say the education authorities, whatever, in Spain, because a lot of Spanish people not only pronounce it with a B, but then they spell it with a B as well. So to try and stamp this out, if you like, or to try and eradicate this, but of course it's a generational thing, it'll take forever. But if you feel comfortable saying it as a B and you get understood, it depends where you live. You know, if you're in San Miguel, you're probably better off saying it as a B because that's how they'll say it. But if you're in Madrid, maybe not. So, you know, V or B, or the ideal pronunciation is a soft B. But I don't want you to get hung up over it. People get hung up over pronunciation. The best thing to do is to just say it and then see if they understand what you say or not. And if they don't, say it again in a different way. Okay, número 14. Existir. Existir. Yes, I think what's important to remember is even Spanish people have their all different pronunciations. You know, so I have actually virtually interpreted between someone from Madrid and someone from Bigastro because they spoke so differently they couldn't even understand what each other was saying, whereas I could understand both because I've learned Spanish, I suppose, in what you call the proper way. But also I've lived in this area for long enough to understand the sort of Murcian, because we're right on the border of Murcia. So, you know, it's just the same as in the UK, we've all got different accents. Just because somebody doesn't understand you, it's not always your fault. It might be their fault. Okay, so número 15. Experimentar. Experimentar. Número 16. Now, this is a little tricky one because you've got FAS, F-A-S, then you've got C-I-N-A-R. So it's fascinar. Not fascinar, fascinar. Tricky. Número 17. An easy one. Insertar. Insertar. Número 18. Insistir. Insistir. Número 19. insultar, insultar. Número 20. Integrar. Not integrar, actually. Integrar. Integrar. Y número 21. Again, it's that ve or be, in ve or in ve. I like to say the ve sound. Investigar. Investigar. Número 22. Modificar. Modificar. 23. Motivar. Motivar. 24. Necesitar. This again is a tricky one. I think it's the C's and S's and anyway. Necesitar. If you're ever not sure of a pronunciation, remember to break it down into syllables. So, número 25. Notificar. 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 So notice when the C is followed by A, it's a K sound. 26. Operar. Operar. Número 27. Participar. Participar. Número 28. Presentar. Presentar. Número 29. Representar. Representar. Y el último, the last one, simplificar. Simplificar. Ok, vale, ya está. Oh, gosh. Vale, gracias por mirar. It's too much. Thank you for watching. Please, if you don't mind and if you found the video useful, please give me a thumbs up. That's free, as is to subscribe is also free. Just helps me with the YouTube algorithms. If you want to support the channel, you can buy me a coffee also. The link will be in the description. The YouTube channel will always be free. But yeah, it is, especially in these times when other like classes, etc., are more difficult to do because of our lockdown measures. You can buy me coffee if you want to support the channel. I want to thank everybody who's already supported it by giving me thumbs up and subscribes and watching the videos, and all my students who are doing Zoom classes or patiently waiting for the classroom to reopen. Thank you so much. Hope you're all safe and well. Espero que todos estéis seguros y salvados. Y sí, bueno, ¿qué más podemos hacer? Tenemos que tener paciencia para la vacuna, ¿no? Y está. So, que tu Dios vaya contigo y te veo en el próximo video. Gracias. Adiós.